Hi, this is Cheryl from Print Button Archive, and I had a request this morning from Charlotte on the LinkedIn group asking me some tips for getting into the industry. So I've kind of compiled top 10 tips. So the first one is know your strengths. Look at your portfolio, look at what you're good at, and really play to that. Make a great portfolio, which is tip 2. Make sure your portfolio showcases you to your best. Less is more. Don't put in that one extra design that's a little bit dodgy and a bit weak, because it could let down the rest of your portfolio. And actually, as an employer, sometimes when I look at something, I think, that's not so good. Kind of throws it off a little bit sometimes. And maybe kind of when you're sending out emails, put 3 of your strongest images actually pasted into the email, because employers are busy. If you catch something, if I see something that catches my eye, I go, oh, okay, and I'll have a quick look. But I would say tip number 3, find companies that are in alignment with your skill set, personality and values. It's about your personality as well as your work. So if you really love what a company's about, it could be someone like People Tree, and you're quite eco and environmentally conscious, then don't go and work for a fast fashion company. Or I think the reason I say that is because when you're in alignment yourself with what you do, everything about you works in that job. If there's elements of you that jar, then you're never going to give it 100%. So really think about that side of it as well as kind of where your strengths are. So if you love kids and you love kids design, you might have young kids, and you're buying kids clothes all the time, and it's your passion, and you're kind of inspired by that, and you get tons of ideas, then brilliant, then do that. Don't go and work for haute couture, where you're kind of doing kind of much more grown-up stuff that maybe doesn't appeal as much. So just play to your strengths. I would say then number 4 is find employers. Finding employers is about quality, not quantity. I hate getting blank emails from people that are just like, dear whoever, here's my CV. Actually, I'm much more impressed if people know what my name is, what the company's about, that they love vintage, or they love working with vintage, or they like what I've done with so-and-so, or they've got experience. Apply, make yourself applicable to the company and relevant. It's much better to research 5 companies that you really love and do that really well, and stalk them and know them inside out, than just applying to 30 different companies who you don't actually know much about. Because also, when you come to do the interview, if you're lucky enough to get a foot in the door, the great thing is you know loads about the company. You can name drop certain people that they might have collaborated with, and I think people feel much more secure employing someone that knows the brand well, knows the handwriting well, and understands what they're about. That's a big part of getting a job. But first you have to open the door, which is number 5. So opening the door is tricky. I think sometimes people don't want to commit to an internship, but you might have an opportunity to do a couple of weeks work experience. Another good trick is to ask for a dummy brief. If somebody called me up and said, I love what you do, do you want to try me out? Do you want to set me up with a bit of vintage to reimagine, or, and actually asking someone if they would give you time just to test the skills is a brilliant way. It also brings up dialogue. It means you get a conversation going. I'm probably going to get 20 requests for this next week. Anyway, so that's a really good, be creative in how you open the door, ask conversations. If you send emails, for God's sake, keep them to a paragraph. It's about opening a dialogue. It's not about your life story in an email. There's nothing worse than getting a biblical email. And with all the best will in the world, it could start off brilliantly, but a paragraph in, I'm bored and I've moved on to the next email because it's just too much, and takes up too much of my time. A quick, hi, this is me, I'm really interested in what you do, here's my CV, or here's a couple of images. Are you taking on interns, or are you interested, that sort of thing. But keep it short and sweet, and warm and relaxed. Don't be too official. We're not in the sort of 20th century anymore. But keep your tone right. It's really important. Look at how they speak on social media. Look at how the CEO might have put something out on Drapers or something like that. You know, get a tone of the company. If they're young, if they're fun, if they're fast, then great. But keep it professional, even if the tone is quite relaxed. So yeah, getting the tone right is really important. Next one is knock 3 times. I once found this bit of advice at a talk somewhere, and it's so true. Until you get a no, don't take no for an answer. You know, don't hassle. But I've been so persistent in the past. I got my job in New York because I was, you know, very, very sweetly phoning up every week going, hi, it's me again, just checking in to see if you've made any progress. You know, no problem if you're too busy, but if you could get back to me at some point or just let me know, I'll just drop you a quick email, rah rah. Very gently, slowly catchy monkey, and you know, always be super polite, never demanding, really sweet, but quietly persistent. That's always great. But you know what, if you don't hear anything, try again. Don't hear anything again, try again. I always say knock 3 times, but actually I would just keep going until you actually speak to someone or you get a flat no, and that's it. Then leave it. You know, don't be too persistent. Number 7, you'll stand out if you're self-motivated. You know, employers are looking for other interests, especially at the moment when there's downtime. You know, in 3 months' time or 6 months' time, they'll be going, okay, what did you do with this period of time past the initial 2 breakdown weeks? What did you do with this time? You know, are you doing other things? What it does is it gives me as an employer an indication more widely about, you know, is that person motivated? What are they doing? Are they working with a friend who's got a fashion brand, or are they doing a little startup, or are they, you know, learning about social media? Are they adding to their skill set, doing online courses? Or, you know, someone who's got a bit of get up and go is just brilliant. You know, they're a breeze to work with, and they're always showing initiative at work as well as in their own interests. You know, they might DJ, they might do whatever. You know, it's not about cramming too many things in either. It's about relevant to your personality and your interests. You know, if that happens naturally for you, then it shows that you're a person who's got a lot of interest and energy, which is what you're looking for as an employer. Okay, and number 8 is stay humble. You know, don't oversell yourself. Don't go in there all guns blazing with a massive ego saying I can do this and I can do that, because you can smell a rat within a second with people who are a bit too overconfident, and sometimes that comes from nerves. But I think more often than not, you know, don't undersell yourself either. Try and get it just right. So go in, be humble, be great, be warm, be inquisitive, be kind of quietly confident, but, you know, don't have an ego. It's never in life, just don't have an ego. Okay, number 9 is make sure your setting is on receive as well as transmit. I mean, I'm guilty of this sometimes. If I'm a bit nervous, I can just radio out and I'm like, and kind of, you know, chatting away for ages without actually drawing a breath and listening to what the employer's got to say or what the other person's got to say. So nerves can do that to you, but make sure that you're listening to what someone says, you're listening to what the brand, you know, is about, you're asking the right questions. It's about a two-way conversation, especially in an interview or pre-interview. You know, it's definitely a dialogue about, is this job right for me, as well as does the employer want to employ you? So that's, you know, interesting in life as well. And then the last one is obviously number 10, knockbacks. You know, my tips when you get knockbacks are, it's inevitable. You know, if you're looking for a job, then it's not quite right for whatever reason for you. So don't lose any sleep over it. It's not right for you for whatever reason. You know, you're not in the right place at the right time. And that could be in your development, it could be in your personality. But if you keep getting knockbacks, you know, have a look at what's going on here. What are people saying? Ask for some honest feedback. You know, I sometimes wish that I could feedback to some people after, you know, they've emailed me or whatever. Because actually honest feedback is really important for yourself too. Be honest, you know, if you're chasing a job that's more about your, you know, what you love on Instagram rather than actually what you're good at or your sort of potential dream life that you want to set up, it's not realistic. You know, you have to kind of look at yourself in okay, what are my skill sets? I can work towards that eventually. I might want a great job working for so and so, but if you're punching above your weight before you're ready, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. you know, maybe start humbly, or if it's just because the market is saturated, like it probably will be at the moment, or there aren't the opportunities, maybe go in a side door, maybe do something along those lines, maybe find another way in, or enhance your skills, take another course. I think, yeah, you know, it's really important to make sure that, you know, you're being knocked back for the right reasons. If it's lack of opportunity, that's fine. There's too many people going for the job, but just make sure that, you know, you're not off kilter somewhere, that there's something not quite authentic about what you're going for. It's really important to be very authentic, understand what your strengths are and also your weaknesses. And I think employers can sense inauthenticity. You know, for me, definitely. If a person doesn't ring true, or what they're saying sounds a little bit off kilter, then it definitely, trust becomes an issue. Then you're like, are these people for real? You know, is this kind of quite right? Something about that seemed a bit fakey. I don't know. Anyway, so hopefully that is useful to you, and be sure to kind of contact me, or direct message me if you have any other questions. But good luck. It's very hard getting a foot in the door, but once you're in there, things get a lot easier. So yeah, don't be put off and keep going. Okay, take care. Bye.